Okay, love, so I decided to do a video on how to thread your machine and wind a bobbin. So the first thing you want to do is get your bobbin wound. Now what you want to do is make sure that you have the thread on the spool with the spool cap attached. Alright guys, so once you've gotten your thread on the spool with the spool cap, the next thing to do is to actually bring it over to this piece here, okay? Bring it around here and then hook it onto this, and then you're going to bring it across to your bobbin. Okay guys, so here's a more zoomed in view of what to do, okay? You want to take your thread, and that's it, okay? And then the next thing you want to do is bring it over here to your bobbin, alright? And you want to just get the end of the thread into this little hole right here. So I'm going to just show you that. Alright, now as you can see, I have a little bit of the thread that I'm holding on to. You're going to turn your machine on, and then you're going to press down on the foot pedal so that it can start to wind some of this thread, and then you're going to snip it. Alright guys, so once you have your machine on, just go ahead, and this is actually not in the lock position, so you need to push this over, okay? Once you push it over, what that does is tells the sewing machine not to necessarily sew, but that you're going to use this bobbin winding function, okay? So you're just going to step on your foot pedal. Alright, that should be enough for it to already be connected. Now you want to take a pair of scissors and cut the additional thread that's right there. And only the thread that you're holding on to. Alright, so you're going to get something that looks like that. And now you just want to step down on the foot pedal so it can continue to wind it. Alright, so you'll know that it's time to take your foot off of the foot pedal, and this is only if you want to do a full bobbin. You really are going to get a lot of projects out of one. I rarely finish a full thing of bobbin thread. Sometimes I just like to do it so that I don't have to keep redoing it, but you can just wind as little or as much as you need to. But just in case, if you're going to do a full thing, then it'll start to skip and you'll know that it's time to take your foot off the foot pedal. So it'll do something like this. See how it's skipping and it's not necessarily as flowy? Then you'll know it's time to take the bobbin off of the bobbin winder. So you just push it back. Alright, now it's not in the lock position anymore. And then you just want to take yourself a pair of scissors, clip that extra thread, and take the bobbin off of the bobbin winder. Now it's time to drop it into the sewing machine. So what you're going to need to do is this little, as you can see, it has a little arrow on it. You're going to pull this away. Take the bobbin case cover off. Alright. And then you're going to hold your bobbin. Alright. Your bobbin should pretty much mimic a P. Okay. So that means that the string should be going straight down this way, and then, you know, the loop that way. But your bobbin should be spinning like that. okay? So you want to go ahead and drop it in there. And if you pay attention to all of these little diagrams, then it show you what you need to do. So you want to go ahead and follow this little hook right here. And this thread in the bobbin is for your lower thread. Let me move over to the side. Okay. And then it has a little thread cutter already built in. You just cut your little thread and you're good to go. I'm going to just redo mine. Alright, so when you cut it, there shouldn't be anything sticking up or anything like that. You want to go ahead and remember to replace your covering. Oop, got it wrong. Sorry. Alright, so that's how you thread the bobbin. Now for the top thread, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and thread the top. The same thing with the bobbin. This little piece back here, you want to make sure that the thread is hooked onto that. And then you're going to bring it over here just like you did with when you were threading the bobbin. Okay. And my piece is like extra long for some reason. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring the thread. And let me turn the machine a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, okay? Alright, so you want to go ahead, you want to bring it here. And then you're going to bring it up here. Now, inside of here, if you can see this, it's a little metal piece. Your thread needs to be hooked onto there, and then you're going to bring it down. Now the next part I'm going to have to zoom in for, so you know, just have your thread hanging straight down. Alright guys, so your string is hanging down, and what you're going to need to do, your manual tells you to hold it with two hands. So you're going to take your string, hold it with your left hand and with your right hand, or whichever way you do it. You're trying to get it hooked onto this little metal piece right here because this is going to hold the thread down. Alright. See how it's now pressed flatly against that? Now I'm going to cut my thread because it's kind of long. Now to use the automatic needle threader, what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to be able to just push this down and it catches the thread and pulls it through the hole for you. But again, I don't think mine is aligned, so I'm just going to wet my little fingers and push my thread through the hole by itself. Okay. And again, they also have these little things at Joann's that's actual needle threaders. Now what you want to do is take your thread, and you see this little slit in the presser foot. You want to make sure that your thread is pulled that way. Okay, now you're actually almost done. Now what you need to do is take your hand wheel and you want to roll it towards you because you want the needle to go down into the machine, as you can see. Now what this is going to do is pull up the thread from the bobbin. Okay, now once you do that, you can actually take this thread right here and pull it up, and it'll start pulling it out for you. See this right here? This piece of thread is from the bobbin. So now what you want to do is just pull that, and now you're ready to sew. It's really that simple. I know it seems hard. Looking at it, it looks hard, but it's not. What you want to make sure you do when you're ready to sew a fabric, I always keep an extra material around, and I just check my stitches on that material just to make sure that everything is aligned right. So once you're ready to sew, always make sure that this thread is, the top thread is in between this stitch. So the thread that's coming out of the needle should always be in between that slit right there, and you want to have some extra threading on the side because you don't want it to, you know, snap or anything. You put your presser foot down, put your needle down in the fabric, and then you're ready to go. Always make sure that the needle is down in the fabric so that you know where you're starting at. Now, if you were to sew and take your foot off the presser foot, the machine automatically leaves it down into the material. So when you're done sewing this section, if you're completely done, then you would just take the hand wheel, roll the wheel up, lift your presser foot, and then there's a thread cutter on the side of the machine on this side over here, and you can just cut your threads or just use some scissors, excuse me. So that's how you thread the machine and do the little bobbin. That's a video of it, and I hope you dolls enjoyed this tutorial. And until next time, have a gorgeous day, dolls. Smooches. Mwah. Bye.